to look more honestly at the conditions that make native dispossession, the financialization of this loss through real estate, and settler occupation of these lands possible, but not inevitable. We are here today to honor the achievements of Joy Tonepahhote. Tonepahhote is a member of the Kiowa tribe of Anardargo, Oklahoma, and the Guayani Maya people of Conquito, Panama. Following the footsteps of her artist parents, Joy has been making beadworks for the past 40 years. Her work has been shown at the Museum of Indian Culture, Indian City, USA, and the Smithsonian's National Museum of the American Indian. She also regularly exhibits at powwows such as Shulutzin, the Red Earth Native American Cultural Festival, and the Gathering of Nations. Her designs are sought after by Native peoples throughout North America, who commissioned her to make beadworks for personal adornment as well as powwow regalia. She is an artist who is deeply informed about contemporary social and economic inequalities and is committed to making not museum pieces, but affordable objects for everyday people. In addition to her art, Tonepahhote has a distinguished career in social service, serving as the shelter coordinator for Women's Place and as the relief coordinator for at-risk youth at the Community Service Foundation in Pennsylvania. Please join me in welcoming Joy Tonepahhote.
I'm so in love with the exhibit they've done for me. My name is Joy Tonepahhote. My Kiowa name is Altemon, which is a woman with a good heart. I'm going to try to project my voice so you can hear me. We have chairs up here too. Anybody in the back that wants to come join us over here if you want to hear better. I spent most of my life watching my mom make her beadwork and studying under her. And it wasn't until we lost my mom in 2005 that I realized I was going to be the next person to have to carry on making our outfits. To me, it's an everyday thing that I do. And until the Smithsonian reached out to me to ask me to come and be part of their Dressed by Design exhibit as a contemporary bead artist and be their featured bead artist, I said, wait, you think what I do is art? I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, definitely I'll come. And I started to get a better understanding of what I do is hard, it's original, and it's me trying to carry on my tradition for what I've been taught. We have contemporary beadwork, which, like you have little feathers or you have gems, you have rhinestones, and then we have traditional beadwork, which is not very fancy, not very colorful. They're designs that are made for specific reasons. I use a loom, which is a wooden piece. Nothing fancy. I've used a shoebox, I've used a picture frame, wherever I happen to be if I need to be something for somebody. Because what happens with me is when I travel, sometimes people forget things, or they need things, or maybe somebody, the creator, somebody came to them and said, you need this, and this is the person who's going to do it for you. But my loom is very, very simple. It's 4 pieces of wood. And I string it with nylon thread, and it's just one thread over and over and over again to the width that I need. The piece that I'm making here are pieces that are going to go onto a buckskin dress for a woman in Oklahoma. She's a very well-known Southern traditional dancer, and I was so honored when she contacted me to ask me to do work for her. My work has been traveling all over. I have people in Canada all the way out to Alaska that have my pieces. So what I'm making here is what this is going to be eventually. And these pieces take me a little bit longer because these are what they call hex beads, or they're square rather than round. So I have to really pick through them to make sure that I get the right ones so that odd one doesn't get in and it can mess up my pattern. When I'm thinking about making something, I use a graphic paper. And I sit down and I say, okay, well, what is it that I want to make? And I draw it out, and I look at it, and I dot, and I use colored markers, and I dot, until I get a pattern that I like. And then I'll string my loom, and then I'll work the pattern. And it's really, sometimes, it can be tedious depending on how much the design is in it. But it's good therapy for me, because because when I have life happen, and you know life happens, and you really don't want to deal, I can bead, and all I have to do is go one blue, one red, one orange, one yellow, one green. One blue, one red, one orange, and I got to follow the pattern. So there's not much time to think about anything else that's going on. And my children sometimes make fun of me because house could fall down around me while I'm beading, especially if I have a project that I have to do. I don't care about dishes, I don't care about the trash, I don't care about, I got to get this done. So sometimes things get around you. So my kids always tease me like, oh, hey, there's no dinner tonight, mom's beading, you know, kind of thing. So I use nylon thread. It's a D thread. It's a very heavy thread. And it comes on a big spool. And this will last me for quite a bit, you know. So I have like maybe 4 or 5 spools right now. And it's a heavy nylon thread. And the reason I use that is a heavy thread because when my dancers are dancing and they're sweating, you don't want a cheap thread that's going to break or fray, or when the wetness from the sweat gets on it, it'll bust apart. And my beadwork lasts for years. I'm talking like, I have a gentleman down in North Carolina. He has an outfit of mine that's probably maybe 30 years old, and it looks like I just made it today. Taking care of it, I make it so that it can come apart easy. You can wash it, you can clean it up, you can change it around, you can make the pieces bigger if you get bigger, you can make the pieces smaller if you get smaller. I try to make it in a way that it's an investment, and one that you have to really take serious, because an outfit can run anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000, depending on what it is that you want me to make and how much time I have to put into it. So what I think what we like to do is I'd like to showcase my beadwork and show you the dancers who are wearing my outfits. And again, I have people all over the United States, up into Canada, who have my outfits and dance. I was at Queens 2 years ago. They honored me as Indian of the Year. And I had 7 dancers in their dance arena that were head to toe in my outfits that I made for them. It was spectacular. I mean, I was blown away by the display they put out here with my work, because I never get to see it like that. Those are all things that we wear when we dance. Those are all things that it took me years to complete, things to make. I mean, what's out here is just splendid. And the facility here, Linda, Kim, and her crew did a great job on putting the things out with the explanation about what they are and how they're used. And I couldn't be more pleased. So with that, I'm going to bring out our first dancer. His name is Ralph Melendez. Ralph is part of the Taino tribe. And he came to me several years ago and asked me to make him an outfit. He wanted to come back to the dance arena. He had been gone for a while. And he wanted to grass dance. And I said, okay. I said, what I need from you is I need 5 colors that you want, and I need a base color. And we went with yellow as a base color. And the other 5 colors he picked were obviously black, orange, white, green, I don't have my glasses on, blue. And the next thing I had to do was I had to talk to him about, okay, do you have symbols from the Taino tribe that you would like to have on it? Beadwork has to be personal. Like I said, it's an investment. And your beadwork should tell you who you are and where you come from. The colors, the designs, the intricacies of it should tell you where that person is from tribally. And I'll give you an example. If somebody's in purple florals with white, I could say they're probably purple. If there's somebody in white with red and a little bit of black, maybe talking about North Dakota, South Dakota, could be sick. You're talking about blues, you're talking about the fire colors, which are black, red, orange, and yellow. You're talking like Southern Plains, Oklahoma area. So again, the colors dictate where you come from. Now again, we have contemporary dancers who compete in contests. So sometimes the traditionalness of the outfit gets lost because they want to be contemporary with mirrors and rhinestones, and so this would be like a contemporary piece. right? So, and this is like has gems and stones and mirrors. That's not something we would have seen way back in the day. But because people compete and they want to be seen and they want something beautiful, sometimes we lose our colors and we get to the neons and the pinks and the greens, and sometimes it gets lost. That's not what I do. I don't make something for somebody without knowing who they are and what tribe they're from, because I want them to be able to keep that. So with his, I did the Taino designs, I did the stars, and then I did the beadwork here to symbolize mountains, because Tainos come from that area. And then on the very bottom were symbols that show the Taino work. And when you look at that, you know that's where that comes from. And on the bottom, I did feathers, and they look like macaw feathers, because that's the feathers that they typically use in their ceremonies. So he can tell the whole story about his people through what the designs I made and what it means and how it comes about. And he has a harness, a choker, a belt, cuffs, side drops, and moccasins, yeah. And pants, right? So I'm going to ask Ralph to give us an exhibition so you can see his style of dance and you can see how he uses my beadwork to enhance his dance.
Yeah. gentlemen, my name is Dennis Zotai. I am Kiowa, Isanti, Dakota, and Okewenge Pueblo tribes. There are 730 different tribes located in the continental United States, including Alaska. 564 of these tribes are federally recognized, meaning they are recognized by the United States government on a nation-to-nation basis. From this, there are over 350 languages and dialects spoken. So, the diversity among Native people is apparent because Native people come from the seas, from the tundras, from the swamps, from the deserts, from the mountains. And we have different ways of expressing ourselves, both in the past and in the present. Tonight you're going to be seeing many contemporary style dances. When we come together, it's usually for what is called powwow. A powwow is a celebration of being Native. It's a time when families come together for the purpose of singing, dancing, feasting, and renewing ties. The dances that you're seeing tonight are the dances that you would see at a powwow. The music that is accompanying the dance is the music that you would hear at a powwow. Powwows came from right here on the East Coast, and they were, it was actually called a powwow, P-O-W-W-A-U, and it had a more spiritual context, and it involved a healing ceremony. But as westward expansion began to take place, there are different documents among settlers, among the U.S. Army. When a gathering of natives came together, they began to call it a powwow. Because there are so many languages, Native people also began to pick up the word powwow. But it's not really an Indian word, okay? We have our own words for these celebrations. Among the Lakota people of South Dakota, it's a Wachipi. Among our Kiowa people, it's Ohoma. So we have our own languages to describe the same event. Now, a long time ago, you couldn't get all these natives together because of proximity and because many tribes were traditional enemies and could not be in the same place at the same time. But after World War I, Native people began defending our country, as we've always done. And through this alliance, we put our differences aside, and we began to dance to a common drumbeat. The dances that you're seeing have an origin, and they look very different way back then. The dance that you see today was called the grass dance. Well, there's a reason for it. There was a warrior society among the Omaha who live in Nebraska today, and they wore tufts. Well, actually, originally, they had scalps, and these scalps were spoils of war. Later, when the society, a grass dance society, became a part of the warrior culture of the Omaha, they began putting tufts of grass in their belts and in their moccasins to do the ceremony, which were symbolic of the scalps. And they danced. It was a men's only dance, a warrior's dance. As this dance evolved, the scalps, the grass became ribbon, made out of ribbon that you see, fringe made out of leather, and also yarn. And it represented the swaying grass, which the society went out ahead because they were warriors, and they stomped down a ceremonial area for this dance to take place. And this is how this dance came about. Incidentally, there is one society, grass dance society, that is still active, and it is located in the state of North Dakota, and it's called the Antelope Society, and it's on the reservation of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara tribe, MHA tribes. So look it up sometime, and you'll learn a little bit more about one Native culture.
I have been fortunate to have an organization in New York called the American Indian Community House. I had the honor of serving as their board chair for several years. And I have two representatives here, just stand, Kathleen and Patricia Tarrant, that have come from the community house, as well as their executive director, who's one of our drummers, Vance Richmond. This organization helps Indian people come together for a common good. They help with the needs of the Native people, and they create workshops and things to bring Native people together. It's been around since 1969, and it's a wonderful organization. You notice when you came in, there's a table that has all kinds of brochures. I'm going to talk a little bit about the things that are in our area here that you can participate in. If you like what you're seeing tonight, imagine this on a large scale of hundreds of dancers. Okay, and so please, when you get ready to go, look at the flyers. Take a flyer. We have the Community House in New York. We have the Museum of Indian Culture in Allentown, Pennsylvania. They have a festival every fall. There's a flyer for that, and we have like such a special person here tonight that's right here in your area that can bring Native American awareness and bring shows and workshops. They have a podcast, and Taylor, would you like to say a little bit about your organization? This is Taylor. Hi.
My name is Tyler Nagoyo, and I'm the founder and director of the Needs, which is an Indigenous arts and culture organization here in Philadelphia. We recently moved from Cherry Street Pier, where we had studios for a year and a half, and we have offices now in Asian Arts Initiative, where we'll be having a lot of events, including an upcoming ribbon skirt workshop, and which Joy is going to participate and help us out with, and upcoming social in the spring. So we do a lot of events year-round, workshops, and the majority of them are free, open to the public, and then some of the workshops and programs we have are for indigenous community only. But whatever suits you, just come to our Instagram page, wearetheseeds_art, and our website is wearetheseeds.org, and we have all our programs there, and there's lots. There's so much going on year round, so please check us out, and
Thank you
so much.
So there's a information about the organization, and again, if you're interested in indigenous, that's such a hard word to say, indigenous Native culture, and you want to learn more about beadwork, or you want to learn more about, like she said, ribbon skirts, and you want to learn more about history, and you just want to hang out with some fabulous Native people, please take her postcard and look at the organization. So the next thing I'd like to do is I would like to call out my two jingle dress dancers. That's Amanda. This is, what's your name? Hey, no, this is my niece Mia. And I wanted to talk to you about the beadwork. So Mia's beadwork I took to match the print of her dress. So if you look at the beadwork that she has, you'll see that it matches her dress. I tried to get it as close as I possibly could. I did a headband, and I put some contemporary stones. She's got a butterfly in the front, and she's got barrettes on the top and the back, and a choker and her belt. And I tried to incorporate, like I said, the designs from the dress for her. She's Taino, and her dad is Ralph, our grass dancer. And do I say anything? And then this is Gracie. Gracie, I made this outfit for her grandmother asked me. You can see the colors and the designs that are in there. They're white. They carry some of the colors of her tribe. She's got cuffs and a belt. And I made it for her a while ago, so her but they're what we call jingle dress dancers. We're going to have a little show, have them do a dance for them to showcase the beadwork that they have and how they use it as well. His beadwork, as you see in the front here, has his name, and it has his Indian name, Tonepahhote, which is hanging money. That's his Indian name. And his beadwork I made when he was, well, it's been a long time since I made this beadwork. But, so he has a headband, he has his belt, he has cuffs, he's supposed to have leg, oh, he does have leg bands, and we forgot his robe, so please forgive us. But I made that in orange because his father loves the color orange. And I was like, okay, well, I can incorporate that into anything. And of course, his belt has our water bird. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But you ready to dance? You're scared? Okay, this is called the boys' fancy dance. You got it. ended it for me. There was no more for me to be able to get because I couldn't twist my ankle. And so I went to women's traditional. And I competed all over the United States and Canada. And I will win here, win there. I enjoyed being with other women and dancing. Of course, we have categories now at the powwows that we go to. And somehow I became a golden age. I don't know how that happened because I don't feel like I'm a golden age person. But, you know, that's what they call it. So, okay. So this dance is Southern Plains. I'm going to bring my two daughters out, and I'm going to talk about one outfit a little bit, and the other outfit we're going to talk about a little bit later. So Robin, why don't you come out? This is my daughter Robin, this is my youngest. What? Oh, somebody was whistling. Whoa! Mary has kids. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is her beadwork. Now, you see my beadwork out there. My dress is the black velvet dress with the light blue beadwork. That's the dress that I wear typically, has French down the arms. That's what I typically wear when I dance. Now, this outfit I made for Robin was graduation outfit when she graduated high school. And what I did was I took the colors that are our people that we use, which is the blues. We use a lot of blues. We use a lot of light blue, dark blue, periwinkle, turquoise, I don't know, many blues. And what I did was I used the geometric design, which is these things here. That's what you call a geometric design. That's pretty typical of where we come from when you're looking to identify beadwork. And then what I did was I put roses on here. My mother's name was Rose, and thanks to my daughter, my granddaughter's name is Rose. And it was something my mother did for her before my mom passed. And I wanted to kind of keep it up. Now, typically you wouldn't see a rose on our beadwork. Maybe if you were Iroquois or, you know, from Canada up toward New York and up that way, you would see that. Or maybe some of the Sioux, they have roses that they use in their beadwork. But for her, I kept it there in honor of my mother. Now you see on her, she has these birds. These are called water birds. Gabriel, and that's what I was saying about Gabe. Gabe also has our water birds on his side. His are a little fancier. When somebody looks at my beadwork and they look at the style of the dress, okay, thank you, honey. They look at the style of the dress that they're wearing, they can tell by the cut of the dress it's a tea dress, okay? That's a plain person, right? Then you look at my beadwork and you can say, okay, well, blues, fire colors, you're probably talking about Southern Plains, Oklahoma area. Geometric design, you know, you're talking what? You're talking Osage, Choctaw, right? And then you go even further, these birds. There's only a handful of us that have this bird. My grandfather had made a bird out of silver. And he asked my mother if she could make a bird to match it, his water bird. And my mom said, I can try. And she was successful in it. So this bird we put on our outfits. So anybody who sees my daughter, right, they say, hey, you know, she's obviously Plains girl, and the color of her beadwork tells me she's like Southern Plains, and the geometrics and stuff's probably Oklahoma area. Those birds, whoa, she's a Tonepahhote. So she can't do anything, right? Because I get calls when she's in California, or my other daughter, when they're in California, or they're in Nova Scotia. Hey, you know, Robin's up here. Yes, I do. Is she behaving herself? I know she's behaving herself.
Couldn't get away with anything.
No, because we're that kind of community, you know, we know each other. But when I talk about how personal beadwork is, that's what I'm saying. She can go back in history of her beadwork and she can say what those pieces mean, what those colors mean, what they represent. And anybody who judges her at a powwow, who knows their stuff about beadwork and knows their stuff about the different indigenous people who were dancing, can look at her and tell exactly what tribe she is, where she's from, and the style of dancing that she's wearing. So Robin and my other daughter Rosalind, and we're going to talk about her outfit in a bit, are going to show you what we call a woman's traditional dance. where I need knee replacement because I live so much. We don't realize that workout that they're doing with up and down and on the knees and the ankles and in the back because you have to keep yourself straight. There's like all kinds of things that you have to do in order to do that dance and do that dance properly. How I create it, how do I think of it, what's the inspiration for it, and it really comes down to the drive of the person who wants me to make something. If somebody is Iroquois from upstate New York in Canada, I'm going to make things that have purple, white, and flowers. I'm going to make floral patterns. I'm going to put in the wampum though. I'm going to put in the tree of peace. I'm going to put in things that are significant to that specific tribe. Now, Iroquois is a big word for different tribes that are part of that. You have Oneida, you have the Tuscarora, you have Mohawk, you have Onondaga, who else are the Seneca. So I mean, and they just get clumped together and they're called Iroquois. But each one of those tribes inside of that have their own specific things. They have wolf clans, and they have ducks, and they have geese and bears. Yes, they have wolves. Oh, wolves is a big one. So I mean, and what they yes.
They have ravens.
They have what?
Ravens?
Ravens? No.
No.
They have cranes.
That's all right.
Yeah, raven is kind of like up Nova Scotia, like up Canada.
West.
If you say west, like Washington.
Northwest.
Like Washington area?
That's
But it depends on the person who's coming to me as to what I create. Now, I try to be as, what do you call it? I'm an artist, right? So I'm like, let me create it. Let me make it, and we'll talk about, make a template. And we'll see about whether or not it's something that we like. So again, give me 5 colors that you want me to work with, and give me a base color. Then I gotta look at the tribe. What tribe is it? Okay, if it's Sioux, I'm gonna look at red colors, and look at yellow and orange and black. If it's Southwest, and I'm gonna look at like maroons and ivory. I take really into consideration where they come from. So what I do is I create what they call a pattern. I call a pattern, a template, and I send a picture to whoever it is that I'm making their outfit for and say, what do you think? They might say, I don't really have a lot of green in my outfit, so can we get rid of the green? I really like the red, but do you have a deeper red? And I try to work with it the best way I can. However, I work the best when you just let me know and let me work like any other artist, right? So that's how I get contacted when we go to powwows. I get contacted by the dancers, and they tell me exactly what they want and what style of dance that they need me to do. And I told you before, an outfit can run anywhere between $15,000 to $5,000 and just beadwork. So you're talking about time. You're talking about I have to pick up each bead individually. I have to make sure that the beads are uniform. I have to make sure that the colors match just right, and that I have enough of one color to finish the whole outfit. Because what happens is our beads have different guidelines. So I could order a kilo of red beads, cherry red, and it might be super bright when I get it, and I order the same thing again, and it might be just a little off. So you have to buy all your beads at one time if you want it to be uniform and you want everything to match. And so you're talking like a kilo.
60.
Yes, it's about $60 for a kilo. Kilo can do pretty much an outfit, depending on the design of the work. And it can take me anywhere from 4 weeks to 6 weeks to 2 months, depending on what the design is that I have to create and whether I can get the beads, because that's sometimes it's hard. Black for a long time was really hard to get. I'm not sure why it was. So that's how I get the information from the person. I talk to the person and talk to them a little bit about their dancing, what they do, what they see, what they do for a living, their family life. I want to know the person because what I'm creating is personal, so personal, and I want the person to be pleased with what I make. And I also wanted to include who they are, their family, and any other type type of, crest or design or something that they need to be in their outfit, which is part of their family. Now, I only take 1 or 2 outfits at a time because, again, they're time consuming, and I babysit. So, sometimes it's hard when I got 2, 3, and 4-year-olds running around fighting over a doll while I'm trying to eat, and it's like, stop! They're chasing the cat juice on my table. But let me tell you, it can be quite a task. But how did I learn it? I learned it from my mom. My mom passed it down. When I was young, I always seen my mom beat. I never knew her not to pick up a needle, not to beat. And I'd always wanted to play with the beads and the needles and come and be part of what she was doing. And she'd be like, okay. Like, what? I want to do it. Okay. And when I was probably 12, I was living in Gallup, New Mexico. And she said to me, she was working on a harness. She said to me, I'm tired. How about you put on a couple rows for me while I go take a nap, work on it for me. And I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yeah. I said, yeah, I got this, I said, yeah, go take a nap, see you in 5 hours, whatever, and I was so excited to do it. And a couple hours later, she comes out, and she looks at my work, and she said, you only did 3 rows? And the whole time I was sleeping. I said, Mom, this is really hard. I had to take this off because I missed this bead, and I didn't put this color in, and I had to take this row off. I said, I've done like 10 rows, I just had to take them all off again, and that was the first time she ever let me really be part of it. And what she did was she created a want and a desire for me to want to be. Because she didn't want me just to take it for granted, and she didn't want me to just be blasé. And she was our beadwork artist. I mean, so my mother had quite a few awards, and she's been put in some museums as well for her beadwork. And she wanted me to want to create. And she made all our outfits, all our dresses. We were all in buckskin dresses. My mother dressed us to the hilts. And then, we lost my mom in 2005. And when we lost her, we were like, who's gonna make the outfits now? She was the person who did it all. And so I sat at my mom's bead room, and I looked at the stuff that she had on her table, and the pieces that she started to create. And I told my daughters, because they were quite young then, I said, I'm going to sit and I'm going to complete every piece we work on how I did it. And I'm going to teach myself to do this. I watched her for years do it. And I sat down and I made a medallion, a round medallion. And my 3rd medallion looked like my 5th medallion, looked like I've been doing it my whole life. And it just was there for me to do. Now, I get signs and signals and things when I get stuck on something and I don't know how to create it or how to come about it or whatever, and I really, really concentrated on whatever, I know there's somebody like whispering in my ear saying, hey, this is what you need to do, this is how you need to do this, and then I'll be like, oh, wait, I got it. Okay, I can do that. Let me go write that down. But she's the one who really inspired me and gifted me her gift. And it's something that we pass on generationally, and we sit with our aunts, we sit with our grandparents, sports fans, and Lance Richmond, our drummer and executive director he's the board chair for the American Community House, brought some of the pieces that I made for him. And I made this one, this is for Yukon. This is a Yukon supporter. And so he asked me to make it, and I said, sure, I can make it. Bring her. And then this piece, it has St. Regis Mohawk, Akwesasne, I'll do the show you. This piece I made because I used to take care of Nancy's mom. I come up and sit with her, take her to appointments, and be a companion and all that, and I got to really reconnect with her because she was the executive director for the American Community House for many years. And and sitting as a board chair, I could pick her brain about things and try to help lead the community into a better tomorrow. So when we lost her, I was coming home, and I know this is terrible, but I smoke. And I went to my house, and I stood outside, and I was smoking a cigarette, and I usually put my tobacco down before I go in my house to just say, you know, anything negative, don't follow me in my home. I don't want to bring anything in my home that will upset my home. And I had a dream where she visited me, and she said, I need you to make this. She said, I need you to make the bear, because that's the clan that they belong to. She's like, and she showed me this whole thing, or I seen this whole thing in my dream. And she said, he needs that. I need you to do it. So I woke up the next morning and asked my daughter, I'm like, I need a pen and paper, I need a pen and paper. And I had to start writing down and scratching out and trying to figure out like what I remembered, what I seen, how I seen it, the colors that were there. And so I had it done, and when I went up to visit Lance, I said, you know, this isn't from me. I mean, I made it, yes, you're right, but this is a gift from your mother. And this is what your mother asked me to make for you because she said you need it. That happens to me quite a bit. I make things with not even knowing who it's for. And then somewhere along the way, I'll meet somebody and be like, I made that piece for you. And I'll gift it. I'll gift it to them. Because that, as a part of our culture, is what we do. If I have something you need, I'm going to give it to you. If there's something that I can help teach, I'm going to help teach you. Beadwork, like I said, is extremely personal. And beadwork is something that I share. So I don't ever say to another bead artist, oh, I can't tell you how I do this. I don't ever say to anybody, oh, no, I can't show you or give you tips or I share it. Because this is what we do. This is how we learn. This is how we educate. Not appropriate. That's a whole different story. But I mean, it's sharing and explaining what we do and how we do it. Are we doing good? Are we doing good? So what I want to do now is I want to give you an opportunity to ask a question to me or any one of the people that we have here.
I just came here by chance actually. So I was like, because there was like food and
Oh yeah, food.
holy smokes, cookies. So
Oh.
I was like, I'm home. I'm just good. And I was thinking, basically dinner time. So I was like, yeah, I'm just like, hey, cool stuff. Cool clothes.
Thank you. Well, thank you for staying and not just eating. That's awesome. Does anybody have a question? Yeah. They want
On the back of her daughter's thing, there were some words.
Yes.
What were they?
Turn around.
I know one of them was said Maya.
Yep. These are her tribes.
Oh.
Kiowa, Mayan, and Oneida.
Okay.
She
And then that way is her name.
Yes, that's her name, Rosalind.
Uh-huh.
She suffers from height problems, so she thinks she's taller than she is. That's why I said, anybody else have some questions? Oh, something else? Go ahead.
I don't know your name.
My name is Joy.
Joy.
Aren't I a joy? Yes, I was named wonderful. Best name I could have ever received. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
So is it the traditional dance then?
The girls?
Yeah.
When did the scarves come in?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
They use it to cut. But I don't know, because sometimes they have heavy breastplates that they wear that rubs the back of the neck. Sometimes the choker can with the drop that comes down. It's really just an accessory like a hair beret. You know, it's kind of like when you go out, when you see your parents or your significant other go out, your bag has to match your shoes, has to match your dress, everything has to match. So with the women, they have to have a shawl, they have to have a bag,